Welcome back. It's a Jazzy Shepherd skateboard. This was a fun one. Step 1, take that bad boy apart. Step 2, go on outside and grab your electric sander and some pretty heavy grit. I'm using 80 grit sandpaper there because we've got a factory finish on that board. We want to get all of that sheen off of there. Factory finish meaning they probably sprayed a nice coat of lacquer on it. And I can't just paint right on top of that. Got to knock that sheen off of there. Get it down to something a little more porous. And I'm checking the sheen by looking down the board, wiping it with a damp cloth, checking it again, looking for little hot spots where I might have left a little bit of material, a little bit of their clear coat. All right, I left this in there because I wanted to talk about workflow. When you finish part of a project, go ahead and clean up and set up for the next part of the project. Really makes things easier. So next part for me is clean it once again and head right into some paint and primer all in one. I'm using a hairdryer there to make sure there's no dampness left from my cleaning. And I'm wiping the edges so I don't get any white drips or anything over the side of the board. And I'm going for a nice stipple. Okay, not swipes. I don't want to leave brush strokes. I want a nice stippled texture. And the product I use is anyone's paint and primer in one. That's Uperpa, as you can tell. But all companies have it. I'm kidding, that's Sherwin-Williams. So here we go. I'm trying to affix the board to my easel so that I can project. So this is almost like if you've ever seen that old show, Benny Hill, where everyone's sped up, clowning around. This is me trying to figure it out, and I can't figure it out. Bungee cord is involved now because I need it to stay still for the sake of the projection. Now this is also a comedy of errors as I have it up on a milk crate, which is usually what I do, but I will soon find out that that's not necessary. So the artwork is on my laptop, hooked to the projector. And I'll tell you why I project, especially on commissioned pieces. First, it speeds things up because I'm not redrawing. Second, I don't want to redraw something I've already drawn once. The client has approved that piece of art, so I just want to pop it right on the board. Now look, I've ended up just on the flat table. So funny. So I start sketching and I realize, I better check placement by putting the wheels on there and seeing where they really attach in regards to the art that I've laid out. Because I've used like a clip art skateboard to put my art on in the digital realm. And now I'm burning through it with a B pencil, not pressing very hard, but I'm leaving pretty decently dark lines. So I capture the essence. And like I said, the point of projecting is to get it pretty accurate to what I've proposed. All right, and I keep moving the art up and down a little bit because I decided I didn't like the placement of the dog. Now I'm going back through and just reinvigorating those lines, looking for discrepancies that I might have missed in the sketch, discrepancies, things I might have left out during the projection process. Just double checking myself. I've stepped in it a few times, finding later on during the painting, even past the underpainting, that I have something wrong with the drawing that I should have caught had I double checked myself. So always really, really, really look at your sketch. Here I am comparing it to the actual digital sketch. And double check, triple check yourself before you wreck yourself. Is that a dad joke? Or is it still relevant? I don't know. All right, heading into some color here. Just going monochromatic, just using a nice magenta to basically revisit everything I just placed on there with the pencil. Just looking for pretty clean lines, although a lot of these are going to be buried at the end of the day or redone with a deeper color. But nonetheless. And now some basic fill-in work. And this is getting a color version of what the digital mock-up looked like. Just a nice stopping point. And this is where I ended up. Not too shabby. Okay, so the client has indicated that blues and purples and pinks are the colorway, so now I'm doing a glaze over the whole thing. This helps on two levels. It really sets the mood, but it also pushes back everything I've just done and kind of solidifies it. Now I'll need to reinvigorate, if you will, all of that stuff, but there's so much work to be done on top of the subject matter that it's of no consequence. And I'm doing a little funny business, some drips, some pull-throughs to reveal more of that magenta. I like to do water droplets. It adds instant texture. All right, jumping into a deeper blue to start to accentuate that background. And I've overworked it a little, so I got my hairdryer out to force dry. And now I'm back at it. The way I teach you guys generally is background first, so I have indeed done that by laying down that sky blue. And now I've headed into what looks like a mountain range, I hope, to you. And while I've got that deep color out, I'm going to go ahead and do that dancer figure at the top. And head through some of the dark values. A lot of strokes going on, trying to keep it a little funky, a little abstract. I do find out later that it is far too many strokes, but that's okay. It's easy to bury those under more value if necessary. All right, getting into yet another color. I think I've got some more of a brownish purple involved now for the main portion of the dog. Lots of clean lines here, so I'm using the synthetics, as you can imagine. All the big washes and such were done with the bristle brushes, as I've told you in the past. Those are best for blending, and these synthetics are great for clean lines. So at this point, since everything is pretty small and illustrative in nature, it's mostly tiny little synthetic brushes, unless I'm trying to do little things like that glow around the heart. But pretty much, I only used 3 brushes for most of this small stuff. And I'm still abiding by all the sketch lines. That's the end of that session. I'm pretty happy. It's a little flat still, so we haven't gotten to that point where we need to start forming things. Oh, here we are again. Now I'm with a bristle brush again. I wanted a little fade at the top. So a little magenta over blue makes that in-between color, which is one of the beauties of glazing things on, dry brushing things on. And I realized I didn't have enough or any pink really. And that was one of the prerequisite colors because my friend and client in this case, this is a gift for his niece. And so he gave me the color palette and her likes, her hobbies, and that's how we came up with this concept and colorway. I've switched to standing now because I was a little too hunched over in the chair, but it's difficult to do it on an easel like this because you can see I'm still leaning and not practicing optimal body mechanics, which is not how I teach you guys. So you see, it's a lot of layering. I think I have things where I want them and then I add and I add. And that's the nature of painting. You got to keep tiptoeing up to where you want to be at the end of the day. Adding in some warm colors, some orangey tones to kind of offset all of this cool. And I'm starting to use pink as well to highlight the side of the shepherd that I want the light source to be coming in on. And so therefore I'm also pushing and pulling the shadows on the opposing side of the light side. All right, back to sitting. I couldn't wrestle with the board anymore. Now I'm getting into final details here. I'm using, again, a synthetic brush to do some outlining and some highlight stuff. Adding some more graphics, another arrow there, as I thought that big sky area was too empty, even though the wheels would technically be applied to that area. It's nice to have some art going underneath. Boosting up highlights, pushing that horizon where the mountain is with some white, doing some splatters and some stars, some galaxy edge to it just to make it a little more surreal. So here we are, finished product. This is before the clear coat because it's better to take a picture before so you don't get any glare. And I'm super happy with it. My friend is happy with it, and I'm sure that his niece is going to be ecstatic, and I can't wait to find out what she thinks when she sees it. So I suggest going out and scooping up a skateboard and do your own skateboard project. Makes a great gift, or maybe you're a skater. So scoop one up, paint it up, and then go shred, bro.